Hey guys, what's going on? It's another Champions League night for the women. It is Manchester United versus Wolfsburg. The ladies travel to Germany to face Wolfsburg in their home ground, playing at the larger stadium this time. So I like this continued trend of the women playing the bigger matches in the bigger stadiums. As always, I got your match facts, presser quotes, starting 11, uh, tactics, all that good stuff, right? So let's get right into it. Gonna be a quick one today because the game is like an hour and some change. So 12:45 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Again, that's like an hour and some time from now. 9:45 a.m. Pacific Time, 6:45 p.m. Time in the UK. So the match official is Miriama Batkova. The weather is going to be cold. It's going to be 38 degrees Fahrenheit or 3 degrees Celsius. It's going to be a cold game. So in terms of standings, United, Lyon, and Barcelona all have 9 points at the top of the UEFA Women's Champions League table. Now, United, we are third because of goal differential. Wolfsburg, they are in seventh place with 6 points. So, opposing team presser Stefan Lerch had this to say. He was asked about United. He said, "We're expecting to face a team that will be very aggressive in the tackles and that likes to go one-on-one. We'll need to stand our ground in those situations. Manchester United have a lot of potential, especially in attack, and they've got many players with a great deal of quality on the ball. With that in mind, we'll need to keep a number of their players in check. It would be an important step forward for us if we win, but we are aware it'll be a tough task." Wolfsburg, the She-Wolves as they're called, are without Smia Vayoto. Now, on to Skinner's press conference. Skinner was joined by Dominic Janssen. So, um, first Skinner was kind of asked about, playing Wolfsburg and in particular Alexandra Popp, who is a German, legend. So Skinner said, "We're here for business. We want to make sure we make it as tough as possible, but these little romantic stories are part of what make this game beautiful." Nice words there. He did say, he followed up by saying, "We have to approach it with really no respect when we're on the field." Some fighting words from Skinner, some well placed, well said fighting words from Skinner, and some honesty, some good honesty there. He was asked about Fallon and her injury, so he said there's a small fracture around her eye. We trust the quality of our players and goalkeepers coming in, so obviously giving confidence to Middleton Patel. Um, so he says looking for a potential return for Fallon after the international window. So that's kind of, you know, the potential return for Fallon. Again, that depends on the severity of the fracture. Apparently, they're still not sure how severe it is, but that is Skinner's initial estimate, is that Fallon will return after the international break. So Janssen was asked about squad size and if United have run out of steam. I thought this was a very interesting question from one of the reporters. I feel like it probably should have gone to Skinner, and Skinner actually chimed in afterwards. I feel like the question was intentionally pointed at a player, and in this case, Janssen, to see what the players think. And again, to repeat the question, or not repeat the question, paraphrase the question, Janssen was asked about squad size and if Manchester United have run out of steam, giving our most recent results domestically. So, Dom said, "We're playing more games than we're used to, but that's why we're here, to play big games." She said it would be nice to have a few additions to the team, but quality over quantity. So, she's obviously stressing that yes, additions will be nice, but it needs to be good additions. Skinner has stressed in his previous press he has stressed in his previous press conferences the need for reinforcements. And I think you're seeing that a little bit now. You're seeing the fatigue creep into the legs. You're seeing a lack of diversity in terms of style of play starting to show, right? And Skinner stressed that he liked to have kind of like a big box of tricks basically to be able to use, ways to adapt and evolve. And right now, I would say we probably are running out of a little bit of steam in terms of both individual energy, right? But also in terms of like what we can pull out in terms of different tactics, right? You watch some of the better teams and some of the great teams of men and women's football, they've got different ways to hurt you, right? And I think we're kind of getting found out just a little bit, just a little bit. But anyway, he was asked about Awujo and Toon. Obviously, Awujo had that big goose egg after the last match against City, and Toon got a stamp on her ankle, which should have been a yellow card. He said both are fine and available. So Awujo and Toon are available. Um, Janssen was asked about being back at Wolfsburg. As you know, she was there for 5 years or so. I'm just going to sum it up because she was asked at multiple points throughout the press conference. Basically, she was saying it's nice to be back. It feels like home, but I'm here to win a football match, right? So I feel like in true Janssen form, very. But yeah, so that was really it in terms of presser quotes from the presser. Of course, injuries. Millie Turner still out. Celine is out with a back injury, and Fallon, as I just spoke about, the eye socket fracture. Now, all that said, my predicted 11 is Middleton Patel to start in goal, Riviere, Leticia, Janssen, Sandberg, our usual back four, Toon, Miyazawa, and Ziggiatti in the midfield, and then Mallard, Park, and I think Galton gets the nod again. This time, I know a lot of folks were not quite happy with that, but I think Skinner's trying to get Galton back into being a regular starter. So I think she gets the nod again today. I think Turlin comes off the bench. In my ideal lineup, Mallard and Turlin and Park would all be our attacking front three. And in some cases, I'd actually even move Park a little more centrally to allow her to kind of run things a bit more. I don't love her being out on the wings a bit. I don't know if you've noticed it in the games, but she seems to kind of be, I don't want to say shunted out to the wings because it has a negative connotation, but like she seems to be floating out there. And I feel like I'd rather see her be a little more central. So ideally, it'd be some sort of like, I don't know, four across the back, three, and then Park sitting in just behind Mallard and Turlin, something like that. Anyway, so I feel like a broken record saying this, but this is a must-win game. Um, I'll give you one reason now, because I got two reasons why it's a must-win game. I'll give you one now, and I'll give you one at the end of this video. So the first one now is, of course, we are tied on points, like I said, across the top with Barcelona and Lyon. We're all on 9 points, but we're third because of our goal differential. And I don't see us making up that goal differential anytime soon. And I don't see um, Barcelona or Lyon losing anytime soon, right? So we're going to have to keep winning to stay, I would say, probably in third place. As you know, the top four, they go straight through to the knockout round. Positions 5 through 7, they go into a preliminary knockout round, right? One extra game, all the extra hoopla around it, all the extra stress around it, all the extra fatigue that could come with it, right? And possible injury. And we want to avoid that. Yes, our domestic season, if I'm being honest, is starting to slip away a little bit with that loss to City, but we are still very much alive in the Champions League, very much alive. So we need to stay in the top four, um, to make sure that we progress through and avoid that extra knockout match. Now, tactics to win the game. So we need to be solid defensively as we have been. Wolfsburg have scored 7 goals in their 3 matches and they conceded 4 goals. United have scored 4 and conceded 1 in the same number of matches, 3. So it's like you've got two approaches to this, right? You've got two approaches. You can smash and grab. So basically, you stay defensive and you try and nick a goal and get out of there, or we try and pin them back offensively, right? Sometimes I say the best defense is a great offense. So maybe we try and pin them back. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think we should go for option 2, which is to try and pin them back offensively. Um, I feel like, and maybe this is outdated, but I feel like you never really expect an away team to come out and go at you and be on the front foot. You always expect them to kind of try and feel their way into the game. And again, it's probably outdated at this point, showing my age here. But you know, I would think that kind of plays on the minds a little bit of the home team, Wolfsburg. So I try to go out there and surprise them and be absolute all out attacking on the front foot, pin them back. And the other reason why I would pick that option is because of the manager's comments. He seems a little bit hesitantly or cautiously optimistic about the match. And he was saying there's a number of players that, from our team that they'll need to keep at bay and under wraps. So to me, that just kind of sounds defensive. It sounds defensive. So my thought is we go ahead and just go with that. We all out attack. We press them back. We press them high and hard, and we try and run up the score on them. Now again, they're a high scoring team, but they also concede. So I was really conflicted between like a 3-1 versus 2-1 to United. I'm going with 2-1 to United. Um, that's my score prediction. Again, you get in the chat and let me know. But I'm going with 2-1 to United. Now, to wrap this up, I know I said I gave you two reasons. I was gonna give you two reasons for why this is a must win. I gave you one because of standings and whatnot and having to be in the top four. The other reason, and this is a big one to me, you've seen it, I've seen it, we've all been seeing it. There are a lot more eyes on women's football at the moment, and particularly within the Manchester United family, there's a lot more eyes turning to the women's game. A lot of the big creators, fan channel creators and all that stuff, content creators that I follow for Manchester United are starting to turn their eyes to the women's game. And this is why that City loss was so hard. Yes, it's a loss to City, Manchester Derby, but it felt like a bit of a step back for our women's team because there were so many eyes on it, on that match. And I don't want people to start looking when we start playing bad, right? And not getting the results. And then they say, see, women's football. That's my worry. So, let me know if you agree. But the other reason why this is a must win is it's a step, it's a showcase for Manchester United women, right? Because again, eyes are turning to the women's team. People are paying more attention as they should be. And so it's kind of like, um, some someone was telling me where if your boss goes away for an hour or two and they come back and whatever they see you doing when they come back is what you were doing the whole 2 hours, right? Even though that may not be true. So it's kind of like this, right? It's like, okay, people's eyes are away from the women's team and now they're turning back. And if we're losing, then in their mind, even though on paper it says otherwise, in their mind, it's like, oh, this is not a good team. They're losing. We shouldn't get behind them. So I don't want to, continue to beat this point into the ground, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? It's there's extra impetus to win this match, and not only this match, but for future matches. Because I kind of feel like in some ways the Manchester United women are flag bearers along with other teams for women's football at the moment. Again, Manchester United being arguably the biggest club in the world in terms of fan base and whatnot and support. Like I said, eyes are turning, and a lot of eyes are turning. And so, yes, Barcelona has had their success and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. But the size of the fan base that they're tapping into is huge. And so I just feel like there's just an extra bit of impetus to win this match. And so, like I said, the women are kind of the flag bearers in some ways for women's football as a whole. So anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that. We got a match to go and win here in about an hour and 10 minutes. I will be live for that match, of course. I'll be doing my watch along, so please do tune in for that. Please please subscribe if you are new. I hope you catch this in time to see my thoughts, and again share your thoughts on the pre-match stuff here and what you think our keys and tactics should be to win, what your starting 11 would be, and all that good stuff. So anyway, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you here in about an hour or so. Peace.